Now at 6, a beloved assistant basketball coach for the Badgers men's team is reportedly recovering from a tragic car crash. And a sunny day across southern Wisconsin after some counties saw tornado warnings last night. We'll update you with the first alert forecast. And Memorial Day weekend is the unofficial start of summer. So what's the forecast look like for water parks this summer? The news starts now.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 6.
Thanks for watching News 3 Now at 6. I'm Madeline O'Neill. Amanda is off tonight. The Madison sports community is sending well wishes to the family of Badgers assistant basketball coach Howard Moore. Moore was reportedly involved in a tragic car crash in Michigan. News 3 Now sports reporter Melissa Kim has been following this story all day and joins us now with the latest. Hi, Melissa.
Yeah, hi there, Maddie. Truly a really sad and horrifying day for the University of Wisconsin family. Now, Howard Moore, as you said, he's an assistant coach for the Badgers men's basketball team. And around 2 o'clock this morning, he was driving near Ann Arbor with his wife, son, and daughter when, according to Michigan State Police, a 23-year-old woman was driving the wrong way and hit Coach Moore's car and another car. Now, Coach Moore's wife and daughter were killed in the crash, as well as one of the other drivers. Now, Coach Moore and his son did survive. We're still working to get an update on how they're doing. Now, Coach Moore just finished his 9th season on the Badgers coaching staff and played for the team in the early 90s. We'll keep working on this story and bring you updates when we get them. We'll have a little bit later more coming up in sports, but truly just an awful, awful day for the Badger sports community and the basketball community across the nation, Maddie. Absolutely. Thank you, Melissa. Highway 133 has reopened outside of Potosi after a mudslide this afternoon. The road was closed for a few hours today as crews worked to clean it up. Now let's get a look at your first alert weather with Dave Caulfield. Dave, it was finally like a May day, it felt like.
Yeah, it really does feel like the unofficial kickoff to summer, Maddie, with temperatures like this. We hit 80 in Madison for only the second time in 2019 and the first time in 25 times of trying during the month of May. So let's take a look at Doppler track right now. Similar to yesterday, we're starting to see some storms try to fire up across the state of Iowa, but I think the severe weather chances for southern Wisconsin are much less compared to what we experienced yesterday. In Madison, we're still seeing plenty of that sunshine on the WISC-TV Skycam. High temperatures, as I mentioned, in the low 80s for many of us across the area, and temperatures are pretty close to that right now early this evening. Dew points started off pretty high, but they've actually gotten better throughout the day. You can still feel a little bit of that humidity with dew points in the 50s and lower 60s, but it is a crowded Memorial Union, and as it should be, with temperatures in the 70s, will fall through the 60s and end up in the 50s to start our Sunday morning. Another pleasant day on the way for Sunday with plenty of sunshine, highs in the 70s. But as we head into Memorial Day, we could be talking about more active weather visiting the area. We'll have details on that in your first alert forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Dave. That weather is cooperating today as Memorial Day weekend marks the opening of pools and water parks in the area. But the rainy, cooler than average weather we've been experiencing so far this May could stick around throughout summer.
No complaints. It's beautiful out. Nice and warm.
After a long winter and spring.
Feels like summer, doesn't it?
Yes.
Guests at Noah's Ark opening day are more than ready to slide into summer.
Just fun. Fun. No explanation needed.
It means cooling off in the water again.
In the water, it's pretty, what?
Cold.
You may have to get used to it. Cool and water might just be this summer's theme.
While you can't necessarily be the most accurate predicting that far out, you can generally pick up on patterns.
You might recognize our meteorologist, Chris Reese. He says the Climate Prediction Center is expecting a wetter than average pattern across the country during the summer months, meaning a cooler than average summer as well.
Your temperatures are going to remain cooler because of the cloud cover and the rain, but also when you have a very lush and just fully wet ground, it's actually hard to heat all that up.
Can we go swimming in the cold and rain?
No.
We always want our days to be just like it is today, warm and sunny, but weather is certainly on our minds at all times.
Noah's Ark Assistant General Manager Matt Hale says the water park has more than just water.
For example, this year, opening our 18-hole mini golf course, we have a 4D theater.
Or when the water is coming from the wrong places.
when we have complete washouts or some heavy rain. That tends to really dampen the spirits of people. But cool weather, people are still going to turn out because this is something they look forward to all summer long.
While there will likely be more cooler than average days this summer, that doesn't mean there won't be any hot ones.
Still think that we're just going to see a summer. It just might be a little bit more active than some of the previous summers.
We're hoping to go swimming a lot this summer. Right, Piper?
Yes.
Other water parks in the Dells are open this weekend as well, including at the Kalahari, the Wilderness, Chula Vista, and Great Wolf Lodge. If swimming in lakes is more your thing, the National Weather Service says the water is still pretty chilly in the Great Lakes, including southern Lake Michigan, where it's only about 50 degrees. The temperatures are a little cooler than normal for this point in the season. Health officials say it's dangerous to go in the water at such cool temperatures. More local news now. The Watertown Police Department is asking the public to help identify the shoplifters seen here. Police say the 3 suspects took several items from the Watertown Walmart. Anyone with information is asked to call the Watertown Police Department. Now let's take a live look right now at the downtown Toronto, where the Milwaukee Bucks are getting ready to play Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals. They're trying to force a Game 7 against the Toronto Raptors. If the Bucks win tonight, they'll head back to Milwaukee on Memorial Day. We'll have the latest on the game coming up tonight at 10. There's a push in Milwaukee to get a bill at the state capitol passed ahead of some major summer events. Electric scooter companies like Bird Scooters are illegal in Milwaukee, but the bill would legalize them across the state. Many people in Milwaukee want to get the scooters legalized before events like Summerfest and next year's 2020 Democratic National Convention. Representative Cindy Duchow of Delafield says the bill gives municipalities the power to tailor their policies.
What works in Milwaukee may not work in Madison or work in Kenosha. So every municipality is going to make their own contract with whatever electric scooter company or companies that they choose to work with.
Representative Duchow says she's confident her bill will get through the Assembly and is hoping for a speedy process in the Senate. Although Pi Day already passed this year, Madisonians got to celebrate it again for a good cause. Runners and walkers at the 20th annual Pi Mile for Math took to the 3.14-mile course in Warner Park this morning to raise money so all students have access to graphing calculators needed for math classes. Graphing calculators cost about $100 and are required for algebra and upper-level classes.
I believe everybody should have equal access to calculators and any sort of math utensil because I believe that everybody has a right to be successful when it comes to math.
As you might imagine, the finish was complete with several kinds of pie for everyone. Many Madison families are spending the unofficial start of summer outdoors enjoying the warm, sunny weather. Madison's splash pads and beaches are now open for the season. The splash pads have extended hours this year, opening at 10 a.m. and closing at 8 p.m. B.B. Clark and Vilas beaches will be staffed all weekend, and the city says it hopes to continue staffing both until the official lifeguard season begins in June.
Feels really nice to be back in the water. I'm pretty much running around and getting cold.
More information on beach and city pool openings, visit our website, channel3000.com. While warm weather often brings fun memories for many, Consumer Reports shares how to help those suffering with allergies during the spring and summer. One of the first steps to battling allergies is to cut down on contact with your triggers, both outside and in your home. So for all of you itchy, sneezy allergy sufferers out there, Consumer Reports reveals which home appliances can help keep annoying allergens at bay.
Every spring and fall, Melindo Montanaro suffers from allergies.
My throat gets really itchy, my ears get itchy, my eyes get really dry and itchy.
She loves keeping her windows open to let in fresh air, but that's not all that's coming in.
There's usually a layer of pollen collecting on my kitchen countertops.
Whether allergens come from outside the house or in, Consumer Reports says to put your appliances to use to eliminate them. First, clear the air. Keep pollen out by closing the windows and use air conditioner to cool your home instead. The AC can also cut humidity, limiting the growth of mold and dust mites. But be sure to clean the filter regularly. Allergens can settle on the large surface of your bed. Things like dust mites feed on dead skin flakes and like to accumulate on your bedding. Wipe them out by using sanitizing cycle on your washer, which uses extra heat that can kill mites, and an extra rinse cycle can remove even more allergens. Another broad space for allergens to gather? Floors. Use your vacuum weekly to pull dust mites, mold, pollen, and animal dander out of your carpets. And be sure to choose one with HEPA filter that traps small particles and keeps them from going back into the air.
Emptying dust from a bagless vacuum can release particles back into the air. So if you have a vacuum with a bin, take it outside to empty it.
And if you're a severe seasonal allergy sufferer, instead of wall-to-wall carpeting, consider covering your bare floors with washable throw rugs and rubber backing. Finally, a portable air purifier might help filter pollutants in your home. Look for ones that use an HEPA filter. I'm Chris Lewinberg, News 3 Now.
One final tip, take your shower at night before you go to bed. That way any allergens clinging to you will go down the drain and not into your bedding. Next on News 3 Now at 6, southern Wisconsin's beautiful weather looks a little different compared to parts of the plains. Stay with us.
And I'll let you know when that beautiful weather will come to an end, and we're talking more storms and possibly some more heavy rain returning to the forecast in just a few minutes.
The National Weather Service says there is significant potential for flash floods in parts of Oklahoma, Kansas, and Missouri through Sunday morning. The more it rains, a decades-old levee system that's protecting northeastern Oklahoma faces increasing pressure. CBS's News' Kenneth Craig has the latest.
After days of heavy rains and flooding, Oklahoma officials say people who live along the Arkansas River should prepare to evacuate in case there's a levee breach.
They have never been tested like they will be over the next 4 or 5 days.
Experts predict that the pressure on the levees that protect the area around Tulsa will continue until Wednesday.
If you and your family live behind it, the level of risk that you have in staying there is very high.
The path of devastation from a week of tornadoes and storms in the central U.S. and southern plains keeps widening. In Laverne, Oklahoma, 2 homes destroyed by a tornado can be seen from above. Residents search through the ruins in a nearby pond. Tornadoes slammed parts of Iowa on Friday. Some express relief it wasn't worse.
Just thankful that we weren't out here and that it didn't hit the house or us. The valuables are good.
And in Rawls, Texas, heavy flooding from more than 5 inches of rain sent water into homes and stranded cars all over town. Kenneth Craig, CBS News, New York.
Millions of Americans traveling for the long Memorial Day weekend could face record heat. Now let's get a look at your first alert weather here at home. Finally, a beautiful day.
Yeah, we got rid of the rain early this morning, Maddie, and not a moment too soon. Already now in this month of May, we are up to over 6 inches of rain in Madison. Just over the last 2 days alone, really the last 36 hours or so, we've seen about 2 to 3 inches of rain across Dane County in the Madison area. Here are some other amounts, closer to 4 inches of rain across northern Dane County into portions of Dodge County as well. A little bit farther south, some areas of radar estimated 3 inches of rain, especially across portions of Lafayette County into Greene County as well. So Doppler track is thankfully quiet this early Saturday evening. As we zoom out, we could see another round of storms starting to fire up across portions of central Iowa. Now, the difference between what happened last night, where some tornado warnings were issued for portions of southwestern Wisconsin, and what we're going to experience tonight is those storms are forming a little bit farther south, and the environment is a little bit less likely to produce those severe thunderstorms, at least across southern Wisconsin. Now, that environment a little bit better to the south. So I really think a lot of that activity is going to stay on the other side of the Wisconsin-Illinois state line. Now, that being said, if we do get a storm to develop right along the state line, that could be a little bit on the strong side, but really not expecting all too much in the way of storm activity tonight. We'll keep an eye out for maybe an isolated shower or storm into the overnight hours. Now, as we get into Memorial Day Monday, we are under a slight risk of severe weather. Remember, that's level 2 out of 5, and that's the risk level that we were under last night, and we still did get a tornado. So just because we're not under a higher risk level, that doesn't mean that we still can't get severe weather. So we have an alert day in the forecast for the threat of severe weather on Monday. Also, potentially some more rounds of heavy rain. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Right now, we'll focus on the very nice weather that is in town. Madison, a very crowded Memorial Union showing up on the Edgewater Skycam, basking in this fantastic weather. 80 degrees today for only the second time in 2019, about 10 degrees above normal for this time of year. Temperatures still in the upper 70s and lower 80s. Dew points have been a little bit elevated today, so a little bit of humidity in the air right now. Definitely feeling a little bit better with dew points in the mid-50s in Madison. Wind speeds not too bad out of the west at about 8 to 15 miles per hour across southern Wisconsin. So for tonight, mild and partly cloudy with an isolated shower possible, especially close to the state line. For tomorrow, mostly sunny and seasonable with highs in the mid-70s. So as we look at future track, a couple of blips are possible on radar later on tonight. But again, really not expecting that to be significant. Most of us will stay dry. As we get into Sunday, starting off in the 50s and 60s, another beautiful day on the way for tomorrow with highs in the mid-70s. Then as we get into Monday, multiple rounds of heavy rain possible. Also some severe weather possible later on Monday. Monday. We'll watch closely for that. Another inch to about 2.5 inches of rain out of the question by the time we get to the end of Monday. So here's a look at your 7 to 10 day forecast. We are watching for more thunderstorms possibly on Tuesday and Wednesday. And then as we head into Thursday and Friday, our weather does look to calm down a little bit with temperatures near 70.
So you're telling us to really enjoy the sun today and tomorrow.
Bask it up, that's for sure, because it's not going to be around for that much longer.
All right, thanks, Dave. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
Well, recapping our top story, Badgers men's basketball assistant coach Howard Moore and his family were in a car crash near Ann Arbor, Michigan early this morning. His wife Jennifer and daughter were killed in that crash, and Coach Moore was in critical condition and his son had minor injuries. We're working to get an update on how they're doing now. Now, head coach Greg Gard is reportedly on his way to Michigan tonight. That's according to the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. It happened around 2 o'clock this morning when a 23-year-old woman was driving the wrong way on Highway M14 and hit Coach Moore's car head on. That 23-year-old woman was killed immediately. Another car was also involved, but that driver was not seriously injured. This is all according to Michigan State Police. Now, Moore played at Madison from 1990 to 1995. He was an assistant under Bo Ryan from 2005 to 2009 and also head coach at Illinois Chicago before he came back as an assistant under Greg Gard. Coach Moore also has a foundation called the Moore Foundation that helps kids in underprivileged areas in Madison and Chicago. Countless well-wishers, including Tony Granato, Kelly Sheffield, and former players all tweeting their prayers tonight. We will, of course, continue to keep you updated on this story. Moving to the Brewers now, Travis Shaw making slow but steady progress in AAA. He was 1 for 13 with 0 RBI, struck out 5 times in the first 3 games of his rehab so far. Craig Counsell says Shaw will take today off then get back to playing. Basically, that's what he wants them to do, just keep on playing. Meanwhile, the rest of the team, well, Jhoulys Chassin not having his best start, giving up 3 runs to start. Then in the 5th, Cesar Hernandez with an RBI single to make it 4-0. Mike Moustakas trying to help out the Brew Crew, bats in the 7th with a solo shot to center field. That's his 13th home run of the season. Brewers down 4-1. And then in the 8th, Hernan Perez with a sacrifice fly, scoring Eric Thames, but the Brewers lose 7-2 the final. Bit of an earlier day for the Cubs hosting the Reds at Wrigley Field. Yu Darvish sighting there. We pick it up in the bottom of the 8th, a tie game. David Bodie, RBI double, scoring Albert Almora Jr. Cubs take the 7-6 lead. Last chance for the Reds, though, in the 9th inning. Yasiel Puig at the plate. That one flies out to right. Cubs win 8-6 the final. So a little fun fact about tonight's Game 6. The Bucks, well, they've been here before, down 3-2 in an Eastern Conference semifinal series. Go back to 2001. The Bucks down in the series in Charlotte. They won Games 6 and 7 for a trip to the final. So keep that in mind, that it is indeed possible. The Raptors are, however, 2-point favorites tonight, but the entire roster, top to bottom, going to have to be on tonight. Malcolm Brogdon says they've got to hit those threes, and Brook Lopez knows they can't look past tonight's game or else it could all be over.
I think it's a similar mindset. We're just on to the next game. We're not thinking about winning 2 right now. Obviously, we just want to go out there and get Game 6.
That's what Bud preaches every day. But you got to tip your hat to them. They've done a good job guarding the 3 through this series. We're arguably the best 3-point shooting team in the league, and they've done a good job even limiting our attempts. So we got to figure out ways to get the ball moving and to, have open shot.
And that game tips off 7:30 on TNT at Scotiabank Arena in Toronto. And guys, we'll of course continue to keep you updated on what's going on with Coach Moore and how he's doing, and really just sending all good thoughts to their family tonight.
Such a tragedy. Thank you, Melissa. What can we expect for the rest of the weekend?
Well, the nice weather sticking around for the rest of tonight. For many of us, can't rule out a quick shower close to the state line tonight into the early overnight hours. But right now, those temperatures are close to 80 degrees. We hit 80 today in Madison. It was a beautiful day overall. For tonight, mild and partly cloudy. Again, maybe a quick shower or 2. South of Madison, closer to the Wisconsin-Illinois state line. Temps in the mid-50s. Your 7 to 10 day forecast showing another beautiful day on the way for Sunday with temperatures in the mid-70s. Then as we head into Memorial Day, though, temps in the low 70s. An alert day in the forecast for the threat of some heavy rain. Also could be some severe weather on Monday, and our storm chances sticking around Tuesday and Wednesday.
All right, thank you, and thanks for watching. We'll see you at 10.